Hello and welcome to this week's TNC Opposition Preview. We've had 3 glorious, relaxing weeks off with no pain. And guess what, ladies?
Yeah, tell me about it.
The pain train is coming back. Of course, last time out, it was a gut-wrenching 2-1 loss away to Leeds. Up next, it's time to see whether we've got what it takes to swoop in at the Amex and take away the 3 points. He's already been on the channel this season. We've got Ryan Adsit on from TSR, massive Brighton fan. Ryan, how are you, my man?
Mate, on a football basis, I'm really not very good. But on a personal basis, yeah, I'm all right. But yeah, looking into this game, 6 losses in a row, as I'm sure we're going to get onto soon. But my God, it's a big game at the Amex, to say the least.
And what's the mood like at the moment at the Amex, Ryan? Because last time you spoke to me, there was almost an air of cockiness about you. Like you were thriving, you were beating teams left, right, and centre.
We were.
Don't get me wrong, as well. You were pulling together a really good string of just results in general. Like you just weren't losing games of football. Reality kicked in a little bit now on this season. Has the balloon been popped?
Oh, mate, the balloon popped a good 2 months ago. I think the trouble is, we sold down Burn, and it sounds so stupid because getting rid of a player that wasn't even our best and then complaining that he's gone sounds pathetic. But I think the trouble for us is we didn't replace him with anyone, and we've lost probably one of our most versatile players. So now we're trying to play back threes. We've basically isolated Kukurea and Tariq Lamptey to the point where they don't even go forward and take players on anymore. So I think it's more than just, it's gone to the fact where we haven't actually got the defense capable enough to sort of leave these attacking fullbacks to go forward. So it's had a big knock on. And I think the last few months has just been, hard to watch. The mood isn't good. And Brighton fans will agree with me when I say this has all the potential to either be a very, very good day against Norwich. We need to win this game. No disrespect to Norwich, but we have to win. We can't lose to a team below us again. Like we got a bit obliterated by Burnley and they're bottom of the league that day. But going up against Norwich, we have to win, because otherwise the morale is just going to be on the floor. And I think it genuinely has the potential to be, one of the worst, most toxic days at the Amex in a good few years, because it's been that poor.
Really? Yeah. Well, that's interesting to hear. And obviously, the stats don't lie, facts don't care about feelings, all of those cliches. You've not won in your last 6 games. Are you worried about this one, Ryan? Like, because you've come into this and you said off air before we started that you could genuinely see Brighton in a relegation fight. Like, could you see that happening if Norwich win again?
I don't think we'll go down. I don't think we'll go down. I think we've done enough in the front end of the season to be okay. But we're in the form to be in it. We've lost 6 in a row. It's terrible. And I think anyone that's losing 6 in a row deserves to be mentioned along, the relegation fight. As I say, I don't think we will go down, but it's not impossible. I mean, look at what happened with Newcastle when they signed Eddie Howe. I know they spent 100 mil and they did have a good window, but they've come out and started getting some points on the board, and that's just not something that we've been able to do at all recently. We haven't scored in 9 odd hours, and we can't seem to win for the life of us at the Amex. I think we've won 1 in 12. I think at the Amex. I think we're the lowest scorers at home since 2020. That was Fulham. I think we're the second lowest scorers at home in Premier League history up to now, and that's only 10 goals at home. So there's not much of an atmosphere to chant about when you're not scoring goals. So it's just been a bit of one of them. But it could be an edgy day, and it could be one of those that hopefully a bit of emotion comes out, and it's like you need to fight to get something, but it's just not been that way recently. That's to say the least.
Well, Ryan, you've sold me this fixture. It certainly sounds like it's going to be a box office encounter, that's for sure. It is not, is it? It's going to be dross. You just know that it's going to be dross. I wanted to ask you about this, Ryan, because I think Brighton are on the beach now. I think you're on the beach. That's your problem. I think there are definitely 3 teams. Well, there definitely are obviously 3 teams below you. I think there's 3 teams worse than you.
Oh God,
Do you almost feel grateful that that is the case, because I think in another Premier League season, this Brighton side, because I honestly, when you turned up to Carrow Road, I don't care saying it to your face, mate, you were shy. And I know that makes us even worse, but
yeah.
I couldn't get my head around. I couldn't understand why there was so much hype for Potter, for this Brighton side, but you were just grinding out draws, weren't you?
Yeah, if I jump on the defensive on Potter and say that
Yeah,
I think that he's changed the club in an unimaginable way for Brighton.
Yeah.
We could never have imagined. The football we play is incredible at times, but it seems to be the mood has just dropped, and it's so weird because technically we're having the most successful season we've ever had as a club. But the mood is so low, and fans are so disconnected. There's a big ongoing thing with sort of the board, and we've got one of the best owners in the league, but the board doesn't really seem to reflect it, and the fans don't agree with half the stuff that they come up with. It seems like we've gone very, very corporate for what we are, and I think maybe we've forgotten where we've come from at times. I think that's definitely reflected in sort of how it's gone. I think most, small clubs will agree. Most small clubs sort of forget where they've come from when they have a bit of success, and I think that's what's happened with us because, let's face it, we're not a big side. But as you say, it's at Carrow Road. I went to that game and I was just thinking, my God, you should have won that game. And it was Matthias Norman, the former Brighton boy, and he had us on toast. I thought he was unbelievable. When I was watching him, I was thinking, get rid of Basuma in January and just sign Matthias Norman, just chuck the money back at him. But I actually want to ask you, to be fair, how he's been for you. But yeah, overall Brighton, it's been poor for a good few months now.
So quickly on Matthias Norman, great player when he's fit. When he's not fit, he's not 100%. I know that's the same for every player, but I think he's another player that's fallen victim to a Norwich City side struggling with confidence, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Ryan? I'm not surprised that you've come out defending Potter. And by the way, I'm not piling into him because I think he's a fantastic manager, one of the best in the country, actually. I genuinely believe that. But it almost... I think you're right, and we're maybe almost heading to this part of the conversation now where I was going to ask you about this. I said this to you last time on the opposition preview before our game at Carrow Road, where I think that Brighton have maybe forgotten about their roots. Like, I know I gave you banter about the running track around the pitch, but that sort of hearty soul at Brighton, I feel like it's gone. And even today, and I wanted to bring this up, I'm sure you've seen it, Kieran Maguire, Price of Football, talking about some of the figures. And I'm thinking, even Norwich can't touch Brighton. And that, and again, I don't want to offend you, but that embarrasses me. Like,
mate, you can't offend me in football. Don't worry about that.
152 million, wages 109 million. Player purchases 31, player sales 17, owner investment, and obviously that's over the course of his ownership, 427 million. Mate, Delia and Michael Wynne-Jones are worth 25 million altogether. It's
crazy, isn't it?
And it just, I don't know. And I wanted your thought. I've rambled on there, but what are your thoughts on that? Because I think part of the reason why there's this bad mood at Brighton is because it's become a bit plastic.
Yeah, I think I agree. Well, I don't think, I know I agree, because you go to the Amex and it is soulless. It's not what it used to be. When you watch us in the Championship, I don't know if you remember us too much, but we had a good atmosphere in the Championship. The atmosphere is very good.
That's where we used to be.
Yeah, fair point. Apart from the 5-0. But I remember that, actually. To be honest, I'll bring that up actually because that's a prime example of how Brighton was then, right? With 2016, beating Norwich 5-0 at the Amex, we looked like everyone just loved it. The whole team was happy. The whole connection to fans was fantastic. We had Glenn Murray scoring goals. And, that's what Brighton is. You think of Brighton, you think Glenn Murray scoring goals if you're a football fan.
Yeah.
And that's what Brighton felt like. And the trouble was we've got rid of that whole era. Houghton's gone. I know you had Houghton as well, but Houghton's gone. Murray's gone. Well, Duffy's as good as gone. Pretty much that whole side is gone. And now we're left with, a whole new era. And I'm not saying that, you need to move on. That's life, isn't it? Everything moves on. But the trouble is, I don't think fans have. And I think the ones that are stuck in their ways of the old times will always be reminiscing. And I think I'm probably part of that. I think that at the same time, you need to get yourself into modern football, money, and that's how football is now. But it's just not as enjoyable. And you see like
agreed.
and this isn't just a Brighton problem. This is a general football problem. The
Yeah,
money of football is obscene. And I can't just say, Bloom's got the money, why not spend it? But at the same time, you've got like, I don't know, your Manchester Uniteds of the world and Man Cities that have got obscene amounts of money, and no one's going to touch City or Liverpool in the next 5 years. And I think that's the trouble. We've got this big like disconnect. You saw the Super League last year. The disconnect between the sort of actual what football means and now the complete superstar elite that is. And I think that's the trouble with, even on a Brighton scale now, we've got, people that are thinking they're too elite for the club, and that's where we're being left behind.
And Ryan, that was my next question, mate. You've taken the words right out of my mouth. And again, I don't think it's just Brighton, but I would say, well, you can agree or disagree, obviously. I think the other thing is, I feel like a lot of those players at Brighton, I can see right through them. It's a stepping stone. And every week I'm seeing players linked with clubs and stuff. And like, I know that's because Brighton are better than Norwich, right? But you never see that at Norwich, like players linked with others. You don't really see it that often. Whereas I almost always feel like the Brighton players are always trying to get moves.
But the thing is, like, we've got the quality. Like, Bissouma, he is a quality footballer. He is top 4 quality player. But the thing is, because he knows he's a top 4 quality player, I think that, since the whole transfer window, we should have just let him go in January, if I'm honest. We should have just got rid of him and cashed in. Because now we've got an upset Yves Bissouma who's not happy, and we've got to drop him because he doesn't play for us anymore. And I think I agree with the structure of how we're doing things, taking it slowly, signing the youngsters, making them grow. But you do get the egos, and you get players like Bissouma who've been here since they're 21, then they grow up to 25, and you're like, they're ready to move on. Fine, they're a great player, but they don't actually care about the club that they've played for. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I do, definitely. I really want your take on this, Ryan. I want your answer to this. I spoke to Liam, who goes by the name of Official Vizet, who everyone knows, Burnley fan, and he's always said to me, if Dyche goes, we're down the shite pipe. Do you think if Potter goes, you're down the shite pipe?
No, I don't think that, because as you say, you talk about the accounts. I mean, Bloom's got the money. We've got a billionaire fan owner. And don't get me wrong, as much as I can say about how Brighton is disconnected, we've still got a Brighton fan in charge who has poker, he has horses, he has other clubs, he's an absolute billionaire. He's going to get even richer. So no, we won't just fall completely downhill. But we have the trouble of, at what point do we drop that corporate act and remember where we've come from? Because since we've been in the Premier League, I don't know. And I wish we did, because sorry.
I just don't think you will. I just think there's almost. I just think there's too much money now, and I don't think you're. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I just don't think you're ever going to get that back.
No, I agree with you.
I almost feel like Potter is almost like the last bastion of that. I think it's very obvious that he cares about bringing through the youngsters and playing a certain way. And I could just see you guys almost, because Potter's going to go, isn't he? And then all of a sudden you'll be left with who?
Yeah, I think Potter's like, as much as I love him, I love him as a manager. I think he's done fantastic, and I think he will go on to do fantastic. Right? He is the future big manager in this country, without a doubt. Like, he knows what he's doing, and if he had a bit of backing and he had good players around him, and he had, if he was at Man City's team, he's going to be very, very good. Very useful. But because he's got our squad, he's not quite as so. But yeah, I just think that with Potter, you've got a manager who is destined for the top, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I just feel like he always doesn't matter how he gets there, he wants to get there. And I think that's probably part of what Graham Potter is. I don't know. He strikes me as he cares, but I reckon he would leave if Man United came in tomorrow. It would be like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that Brighton are in a situation where you've got to move on, but then you've got to remember where you've come from, and we're sort of stuck in that middle ground where you can't please everyone. And I think if we've done it so badly wrong that you've lost the fans, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do. And to be fair, matey, we could do a whole blooming podcast in itself,
Yeah,
hours
easily.
about the state of football and the Premier League.
Mm.
But let's get on to this game coming up. Obviously, we both know it's going to be shy. Um, but what I wanted to ask you is how can Norwich hurt you? Like you've said there that your two wing backs aren't venturing forwards anymore. So
Mm.
you know, is there a way that Norwich can hurt you? Because if you remember in our last game, in our 0-0 at Carrow Road, we were hurting you, but we missed an
Yeah,
open goal.
yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what you say.
The thing is, right, and I think even from October when we played you at Carrow Road, we were better then than we are now. And you're saying how bad we were then. We're
Really?
much, much worse now. God, yeah, yeah,
Really?
God, yeah. We're really. This is what I'm saying. We are really bad at the moment. If you
Oh,
watch over the highlights of the last few weeks, it's been dire. It's really bad. And the thing is, yeah, our defense isn't good enough at the moment. We've got Dunk, who I love, but he's come back from injury. He's not come back anywhere near the same play. Last season I was ranting for him for England, and I think I had every right to do so. This season, nah, he's nowhere near that level. And the thing is, Adam Webster's been out as well for the past 3-4 months. You've got obviously Ben White was sold last summer.
yeah,
I think we're still feeling that. I think now we're seeing how good Ben White's becoming, and I do like
yeah,
Ben White. And I watch him for Arsenal, and I'm just like, my God, I'm so jealous. And I just think if we had any ambition as a club, we would have kept him. But yeah, I just think that defensively we're poor. Veltman is okay. He's hit and miss. He's usually consistent, but now he's sort of consistently pretty bad. Lamptey and Kukurea I love, but they don't get to play like they did. We've got a problem at fullbacks, and we just don't have the defence that we had. If you watch us against Spurs, we got ripped apart at times. I think it was and Liverpool as well. Luis Diaz had us on toast. He was taking us on and made. I know he's different level, but yeah, there's easily ways you could hurt us. The atmosphere at the Amex isn't good. We're not happy. No one's happy.
yes. Score first, one of those ones. Score first, silence the crowd. All of that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, mate, this has been the problem for weeks now. As soon as we can see, our heads drop, and
Yeah.
we put Burnley down. And I remember Burnley so clearly because I remember it, and I was there. Minute gone, they get a corner, and they had another corner. I think they had 3 corners in the space of a minute, and I was watching it, and I was like, what's
This is
going
not.
on? And I
Yes.
was looking around. I was like, no one's interested. And then 10 minutes later, they score, and then 5 minutes later, they score again. And I'm just like, this is bottom of the league Burnley, who we should be demolishing right now. And we made them look like Barcelona. And the thing is, they scored very good goals. Credit to Burnley, they deserve to win by a mile. But the heads drop straight away. 10 minutes gone, the heads are gone. Everyone's like this, and you think, if I'm on this podcast and my head drops after 5 minutes because you've said something I don't like, imagine if I'm like this the whole time. It's just be like, what's the point in having him on? So I don't know. It's just
I understand.
there's no character at the moment, and that's what can hurt us a lot. I think if you score first, it's going to hurt us.
I said this to Conor McGilligan from One Leeds that it's going to be the team that's less shite that wins the game, and I feel like honestly, you've talked me into saying the same thing again. I think the team that is less shite will win this game. It's going to be, it's going to be a murky one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Brian, we've gone around the houses. We've spoken about the state of football. We've spoken about this game. I wanted to flip that question though. Likewise, I know that you've said how Norwich can hurt you, but how do you think that you're going to hurt Norwich on Saturday?
You work that one out, mate, because otherwise, no, I don't know. I think that what we need at the moment is just a bit of fight. We need to look like we're not going to just not be interested after conceding. And I'm not saying we will concede, because historically Brighton are very good defensively. Historically, Brighton can control the game. Historically, Brighton pick up points when they don't deserve it.
Yes.
And that's something that we've missed so much, I think, since Dan Burn went. And that bit of fight, I think you've seen Dan Burn for Newcastle. He's a passion merchant. This is what he does. And as much as I gave Dan Burn stick saying I can't believe he plays Premier League football last season, this season he turned into a different beast, and you do miss him. And I think now we've got this sort of problem where you've got no players that really look like they're going to go out there and die for the shirt, and that's what will hurt you if we've got the fans actually feeling like we're getting something back from the players, because it goes both ways. You can't just say the fans need to sing and it's empty at the Amex. You need to get it back as well, otherwise we're not going to chant if we're not doing anything and pass it sideways and backwards. I think purely on a football pitch basis, we've got Mopé who can score goals dramatically. We've got Trossard who can take players on. We've got Danny Welbeck who's proven he's a goal scorer over the years. It's just I don't know. We've lost so much identity that I couldn't actually tell you how we're going to score. But it just needs to happen because we need to win this game. It's as simple as that.
Do you know what? I am sick with jealousy, and I never thought I'd say that to a Brighton fan, but I am, because all of the things you've said are problems that the Norwich fans, and we've been moaning about on this channel: lack of identity, bad atmosphere, lack of fight, dysfunctional football. It goes on. So I am actually jealous, Ryan, and I actually wanted to comfort you whilst you're on this channel and say you're not alone, mate, because we're the same problem. And Ryan, we could go on forever, matey, but I know that you're tight for time. So
I'm okay to be fair at the moment, but it's tough times, mate. Tough times, but not as bad as it's been. It's okay.
Indeed. Score prediction time. Don't forget, we do it a bit differently on TNC. I can't remember what you predicted for the last game, but maybe your wings have been up last time. What's your head saying, and what is your heart saying?
Can I just ask, is Matthias Norman fit?
Great question. Well, he's on international duty, so I assume that he will be. But honestly, Ryan, I wouldn't be surprised to see him dropped. He came out and did some press this week in Norway, which, to be fair, I think has been misinterpreted, but has basically said, I ain't playing in the Championship next season. And to be fair, he was never going to anyway. But I'm not sure that will go down particularly well with Dino. Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't start.
Okay, I see. I think then, ignoring Matthias Norman, I don't know. My head's saying that. To be honest, though, I think we can win. We've proven we can do this. We've been in way worse positions in our lifetime as a Brighton fan. So I'm going to say, heart saying we can win 1-0, because I don't think we're going to score much more than one. And it is very possible that Norwich don't score. It's not like I'm coming on Redmen TV like I did last time, and I'm like saying, "Oh, you're not going to score," even though you got Salah, Diaz, and etc. But at the same time, I'm thinking it's very possible we draw this. I think I don't think you're going to win, because I feel like if we lose, it will be the worst atmosphere we've had since Bournemouth beat us 5-0. That'll be the worst since. So that was 4 years ago. So it won't. I think the players will want to at least draw this game. I'm gonna say 1-1. My heart's saying 1-0 win, but I really can't see much else, to be honest.
And you know what? I'll be incredibly boring, and I'll throw those same things right back at you, Ryan. My head is saying my head is saying 1-0 Brighton. You've got the capabilities to win this. We're low on confidence. There's, I think, more or less everyone, in terms of the fans now, have said there's not a chance. And quite frankly, it's up to the Norwich players to prove us all wrong. I don't think they'll do that. I think it'll be 1-0 to Brighton. But my heart says, hopefully we scrape a draw.
A goal. So it's not much going on, is there, really, then? No, I think, it's tough, isn't it? Because, historically, if you ask me this, like, beginning of this season, I'd say, oh yeah, we should win this comfortably. This is no disrespect to it, but this is not. We should be winning this game 100%. And I'm in that position still. But based on 6 losses in a row, I know 3 of them are against big 6 sides, but the manner in which we've lost some of these games is awful. And
join the club.
But my little hope is, right, because we've moaned about modern football on here, but my little hope is, hopefully, if there is anything to go by, because it's been so bad, we're not going to be blessed with quality football from either side. But does that mean we can have a little bit of an old-fashioned Championship scrap, and maybe it becomes a really entertaining end-to-end game because everyone's just fighting for it? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But that's my little bit of optimism.
I like that. Do you know what? I'll take that. Just a bit of entertainment. Lovely.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've enjoyed the 3 weeks off, which says it all.
Same.
Ryan, thank you so much for coming on today, matey. I really appreciate it.
Of course, mate.
And thank you so much Thank you so much to everyone for watching as well. Really appreciate the support as always. Do get involved in the conversation on Twitter. Go and tweet Ryan. Do you agree with what he's saying? Do you disagree? Any points? I'm sure he'll respond at TalkNorwichCity. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and hopefully the next. God, I've so many times. I'm actually bored of myself.
I bet you are.
Hopefully, the next time I speak to you lot will be after a win. Please.
I would not.